कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare भगवान श्री नाम संकीर्तन की श्री प्रभात की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 2, verse number 61. श्रीनारद उवाच इति दैत्यपतेर्वाक्यम् दितिराकर्ण्य शश्नुषा पुत्रशोकं शनात् त्यक्त्वा तत्त्वे चित्तं धारयत्. We are reading chapter 2, Canto 7, the signs of God, chapter 2, Hiranyakashipu, the king of demons. This is verse number 61, translation. So Narad Muni continued, Diti, the mother of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh, heard the instructions of Hiranyakashipu along with her daughter-in-law, Rushabhanu, Hiranyaksh's wife. She then forgot her grief over her son's death and thus engaged her mind and attention in understanding the real philosophy of life. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When a relative dies, one certainly becomes very much interested in philosophy. But when the funeral ceremony is over, one again becomes attentive to materialism. Even Daityas, who are materialistic persons, sometimes think of philosophy when some relative meets death. The technical term for this attitude of the materialistic person is samshana vairagya, or detachment in a cemetery or place of cremation. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, 4 classes of men receive an understanding of spiritual life and God. Artha, the distressed; Jigyasu, the inquisitive; Arthati, one who desires material gains; and Jnani, one who is searching for knowledge. Especially when one is very much distressed by material conditions, one becomes interested in God. Therefore, Kunti Devi said in her prayers to Krishna that she preferred distress to a happy mode of life. In the material world, one who is happy forgets Krishna or God, but sometimes if one is actually pious but in distress, he remembers Krishna. Queen Kunti Devi therefore preferred distress because it is an opportunity for remembering Krishna. When Krishna was leaving Kunti Devi for his own country, Kunti Devi regretfully said that she was better off in distress because Krishna was always present. Whereas now that the Pandavas were situated in the kingdom, Krishna was going away. For a devotee, distress is an opportunity to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta Bhagavad, so the 7th canto, 2nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Hiranyakashipu, king of the demons. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च. श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते. तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. I welcome you all in the Srimad Bhagavatam class. English is okay or should I switch to Hindi में करना है? पक्का? तो हिंदी करना तो बोलो, हिंदी करता हूँ. ठीक है? इति दैत्यपतेर्वाक्यं द्वितीय आकरणनुसार पुत्र शोकक्षण त्यक्त्वा तत्त्वचित्तमधारयत्. Shri Narad Muni continued. Diti, the mother of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, heard the instructions of Hiranyakashipu along with her daughter-in-law, Dvijamani, Hiranyaksha's wife. She then forgot her grief over her son's death and thus engaged her mind and attention in understanding the real philosophy of life. So here, as we were discussing, Hiranyakashipu was consoling her mother and daughter-in-law on the occasion of the death of Hiranyaksha, his brother. So now, when he tried to console actually his relatives, especially his mother and his sister-in-law, his brother's wife. So after listening to the philosophy as told by Hiranyakashipu, so both of the relatives of the dead, they forgot their grief and thus engaged their mind and attention in understanding the real philosophy of life. So that is the benefit of understanding philosophy. That whenever grief comes, one can fix his mind, or because what happens when grief comes, the mind becomes agitated, the mind gets disturbed, and in order to get back the mind into a stable position, we need philosophy. Generally people say, oh, I am distressed, I am tense, I am so worried. Is there any solution to my anxieties? Any solution that I never feel any anxiety, I never feel any distress, I never feel any fluctuation in my mind. Yes, there are people in this world who never feel anxiety, who never feel any fear, who never get any tension. You know where are they? In cemetery. What is cemetery? Kabristan, Shamshan Ghat. They never have any anxiety. No stress, no fear. So, we want to lead a stress-free life free of anxieties. So, for that, what will help us? Philosophy. Philosophy for that. And we need to understand the philosophy. Generally what happens in a class or wherever, if there is a katha, if there is a storytelling, you are very excited and very, you can say, awake. Wow, story is there, kahani sunai ja rahi hai, kitna acha lag raha hai. But whenever there comes philosophy, siddhant, lessons to be learned from that story, no philosophy again. Let the story continue. I don't want to hear philosophy. But philosophy is that medicine which helps. Philosophy मदद करती है हमको story समझने के लिए. And philosophy helps us to understand the principles of life, how to lead the life. In my failures, in my success, in my stressful condition, in my happiness, how to balance my life. that philosophy helps us to understand. So, when a relative dies, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, when a relative dies, one certainly becomes very much interested in philosophy, but when the funeral ceremony is over, one again becomes attentive to materialism. This is known as Shamshan Vairagya or Falgu Vairagya. Generally, in human society, especially the materialistic society, and nowadays, because Kali is progressing, everyone is a materialistic. Nevertheless, people are so much engrossed into materialism. What do you mean by materialism? Materialism means we have too much engaged in sense gratification. To enjoy our senses, to enjoy the sense objects. That is materialism. Means what? We are totally concerned about matter. That is materialism. We have nothing to do with the spirit or spirituality. That to say. So, when we are materialism, practicing materialism, what happens in that? We are totally involved in those things which we can see, which we can perceive through our senses. And senses needs enjoyment. And how senses objects? Through the sense objects. Eyes has particular sense objects, ears has particular for them, nose, tongue, what else? Skin. So person is totally engaged from waking up to going back to bed. Totally engaged in gratifying the senses, enjoying the senses. How I should please my senses. That is materialism. And if some person or some object helps me to gratify my senses, that object and person is very dear to me. If any person comes in between me and my sense object, that person is my sure shot foe or enemy. So that is pure materialism. And on this basis, we make our friends and our enemies in a society. Do we have our enemies and friends? Yes, definitely. Just speculate, just you can say ruminate over the thought that how we consider that this is my friend and this is my enemy. Most of the times, this same principle that this person is helping me in obtaining my sense objects, and this person is hindering me from obtaining my sense objects. That's the basic foundation in material society, materialistic society. So, in a materialistic society, when a relative dies, yes, people are distressed, and when someone, a spiritual person, tells them philosophy, they are very much relieved of the lamentation. But as soon as the moment goes away, people go to crematorium, they burn the dead, they shed tears, they lament over the person. Sometimes they criticize themselves also, why am I wasting my life? It comes from within. Oh, I am so much wasting my life. What do they say that? Every day I am wasting my life. This is my destination. At the end I have to come to this crematorium. Every day I am wasting my life. Why am I not serious about my life? I should be serious what I am doing today. Every day I should be serious what I am doing this day. Why? Because any action I am doing this day, I am exchanging my whole day of my life for this activity. It's an exchange. For example, we exchange goods. I want to purchase something. I exchange that good with money. Hard earned money. If I want to buy a teddy bear, how will I buy a teddy bear? By giving person money. So I exchange money with teddy bear. So in my day I am exchanging all the activities that I am doing with the day, that particular day of my life. So person becomes serious. No, I should be very careful in doing my duties because I am exchanging the whole day of my life with respect to that. And persons get so much, you can say, renunciation, that person thinks that in a year, every year, a day comes in my life. I acknowledge that there comes a day, I know that this is my birthday. We pass through that day, that this is a day in a year, which is my birthday. Similarly, a day also comes every year in my life that can be my death day. Do we acknowledge that? We don't, because we are too busy in focusing on sense objects, coming in contact with senses. So person gets too much, you can say, वैराग्य कि नहीं अभी कल से रोज अच्छे से मंदिर जाएंगे, नाम जप करेंगे, we will be chanting, no more sense gratification, we will become very much serious. And the moment they burn the dead, they return to home from crematorium, everyone gets busy. They come home, switch on TV, watch their favorite serials. I literally seen that person is dead and the relatives are watching serials on television. I literally seen that. It's not that it's their far off relatives, they're just there. There is a blood relation still. This is samshana vairagya. People get too much busy in their life. So how much time was the vairagya? Just for moments. Only till the time the dead body was given. That is samshana vairagya or falgu vairagya. So even Daityas, who are materialistic persons, sometimes think of philosophy when some relative meets death. The technical term for this attitude of the materialistic person is shamashana vairagya or detachment in a cemetery place of cremation. This is only limited vairagya. This won't help for long. Short time inspiration, short time motivation. As it is said in Bhagavad Gita, it's Prabhupada also writes in Prabhupada, there are 4 types of people who come to God. Who comes to God? Artha, Jigyasu, Artharthi and Jnani. So why do Artha person comes? He is distressed. He is in trouble. He wants some help. So he comes to God. Krishna, please do this for me. Please help me. I am distressed to solve this problem. Artharthi, he comes for money. He comes for various desires. Please fulfill my this desire, that desire. Jigyasu comes out of curiosity. What is life? Who are you? Who am I? And Jnani, why he comes to God? Because he knows that Krishna is the ultimate person, the supreme personality of Godhead, and being his part and parcel, I have to take shelter of him. There is no other option. That is Jnani. And especially when one is very much distressed by materialistic conditions, one becomes interested in God. So when person is very much when a person is very much distressed by stressful condition, he is very much interested in God. And most of us came to God out of that reason only. For most of us, this may be the reason, and this is the reason for most of us. Rarely it is for, we can say, Artharthi, for getting some money. There are certain numbers, and Jigyasu is very rare, and Jnani is most rare person. One more thing to notice here is that after hearing the philosophy from Hiranyakashipu, the wife of his brother and mother, they engage their mind and attention in understanding the real philosophy of life. It's not that they engage their mind on the lotus feet of Lord. They are not devotees. They are just engaging their mind in understanding the real philosophy of life, that we have got this body and at some point of time we have to leave this body. Jatasya dhruva mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Anyone who has got the body will have to leave the body because the body is temporary. It's sure. As sure as death. But they are not focusing their mind on the lotus feet of the Lord Shri Krishna. Therefore, Kunti Devi said in her prayers to Krishna that she preferred distress to a happy mood of life. I don't want happy mood of life, I want distress. Why? She says, Vipada Shantu Tatra Vipada Santu Tashashva Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru Bhavato Darshanam Yatsya Apunar Bhava Darshanam. Canto 1, chapter 8, verse 25. She says that let the calamities came into my life again and again. Why she is asking for calamities? Why she is asking for distressful conditions? Bhavato darshanam yatsyat apunar bhava darshanam. Because in those calamities, because the point of time when Kunti Devi is praying to Lord Shri Krishna is that background is that Shri Krishna is leaving for Dwarka. He is leaving the kingdom of Pandavas, going back to Dwarka. So Kunti is praying that whenever in our life there were calamities, like Pandavas, there were so much calamities, so much distressful conditions, but in those calamities you were always with us. Always. And that was the plus point in those calamities. Bhavato darshanam yatsyat apunar bhava darshanam. In those calamities we were seeing you, and whoever is seeing you will not see birth and death again in this material world. That's the benefit of seeing you. That's the benefit of taking darshan of my Lord. So in those calamities, you were always with us. So that was advantage. I am not concerned about calamities, but I am concerned of having your darshan. So let those calamities again and again. Because now there are no calamities. Yudhishthira Maharaj is throned as the kingdom of the whole world. He got a throne. So now everything is happy. So I doubt whether I will remember you or not. I doubt whether we will take your shelter in that eagerness or not. Because generally when we are distressed, we are very much eager to take shelter of Krishna. Krishna, please, please help me. I am yours, you are mine, you are only my shelter. The intensity of our prayers is at such a peak in distressful condition. But when everything is going fine, everything is nice, it happens we forget Krishna. So that's what Kunti is praying. That let the calamities come again and again. Queen Kunti Devi therefore preferred distress because it is an opportunity for remembering Krishna. Further, Kunti Devi says, Janmeshwari Shuddha Shribhir Eda Manamada Kuman Na Vyaktirhatum Abhidhatum Toma Kinchan Gochara. Janma, Aishwarya, Shruti and Shribhir. High birth, high opulence, high education and beauty. Person who increases his pride, who increases his ego based on these four things. Because it's natural when these four things comes, education, high birth, opulence and beauty, the person becomes somewhat, you can say, proud. So when person is proud, means he is happy what he have. He has no complaints, he is not distressful. So maximum chances are there, maximum probability is there that person will not take shelter of Krishna. So these things you can say are obstacles in turning towards Krishna. So that Kunti Maharani is praying. You are the property of Tom Akinchana Gochara, the person who was materially impoverished. Those who don't have these things. So you are property of them because they can take your shelter more because they are in distress. And she says further, that Krishna, you are the property of Namo Kinchana Vittaya Nivritte Gunavritte Atmaramaya Shantaya Kevalaya Pate Namah. Namo Kinchana Vittaya. I go to you, I offer my obeisances to you. For the Akinchana Vritta was the property of the materially impoverished person. भगवान किसके हैं? जो materially एकदम पूरा impoverished हो चुका है, मतलब उसके पास कुछ भी नहीं है अभी. जिसके पास कुछ नहीं है वो बहुत आसानी से भगवान के शरण चले जाता है. निवृत्ति गुण वृत्ताय. He is beyond the three modes. Is Atmaram, self-satisfied. ऐसा नहीं है कि जो बहुत अमीर है भगवान उनके कि भगवान को कुछ नहीं चाहिए. आत्मा सेल्फ सेटिस्फाइड. हिज शांत, कोई एंजाइटी नहीं है. केवल पता ही नमा, जो मोनिस्ट, जो इवन जो ब्रह्म ज्योति में लीन हो जाते हैं, उनके भी वो भगवान है. ऐसे भगवान को मैं प्रणाम करते हुए देवी कहते हैं. पॉइंट इज that the more we are distressed, the more we are materially impoverished, the more we are eager and intensified to take shelter of Krishna. That does not mean that we need to be, if we have much money, if we are beautiful, if we are highly educated, and if we are living an opulent life, that we are not qualified to take shelter of Krishna. No. Yes, we may have these four things, but internally we should have that consciousness that we should not take the shelter of these four things. We should take shelter of Krishna. Because anyway we are taking shelter of these four things means we won't be able to take shelter of Krishna if we are not qualified to take shelter of Krishna. For example, Amrish Maharaj, he was a king. But still, he taught us Navda Bhakti. He taught us how to engage completely and take shelter of Krishna. Because being a king means he was highly educated, he was fully opulent, he was beautiful, and he was having high birth. But still, he was a devotee of the Lord. And we know the pastime of Dvijamani and Amrish Maharaj. So that's what Kunti Maharani is praying, that let the distress and calamities come into my life, so that because in distress, probability is high that we take shelter of you, Krishna. So when Krishna was leaving Kunti Devi for his own country, Kunti Devi regretfully said that she was better off in distress because Krishna was present, always present. Whereas now that Pandavas were situated in the kingdom, Krishna was going away. For a devotee, distress is an opportunity to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. So, distress is an opportunity. So, because distress will come, no doubt. Because if happiness is coming, good days are coming, so bad days will also come. Because this world is full of dualities. It's a world of dvandva. There is high tide and there is low tide. So, if high tide is coming, means be ready, next tide will be low tide. And because if next wave is a low wave, after that there will be high wave. So if we are happy, then also we should take shelter of Lord. And if we are distressed, we should not feel bad about it. We should consider it as an opportunity to take more shelter of Krishna. We should consider this as an opportunity to be more absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna. So that's the point. That's the lesson what we should take from this verse. That although philosophy helps us to get out of the stressful condition, philosophy helps us to relieve us from the painful pangs of this material nature, but still we should not just use philosophy for that purpose only. We should use philosophy to take shelter of Krishna. And why we should take shelter of Krishna? Why we should take shelter of Krishna? Why not just stick to philosophy of Sankhya, of that we are not this body, we are just spirit soul? Why should we take shelter of Krishna? Why is our ultimate goal? What is the benefit of that? Okay, we are freed from Janmurti Jalavati. What next? There are no more anxieties, no more distress, no more troubles. What's next? Our basic nature is to serve and love Krishna. So unless and until we reach to that stage, we are prone to get back to this material world. So that's the difference between a Brahmavadi and a Bhakta. Jnani and a Bhakta. Because a Jnani or a Brahmavadi, his main goal is to get out of this materialistic world, get out of this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, get out of this distressful condition. His goal is not to get back to Godhead. So he's getting from distressful condition to a peaceful condition. But he is not feeling that bliss what a devotee feels in the spiritual world. So because he is not getting that bliss, not having that pleasure on the spiritual platform, he will get back again to this material world. Because that's the nature of soul to have some pleasure. So even a person, he is liberated from this material world and has achieved the Brahma Jyoti, the effulgence of the Lord, still he have to get back again into this material world. So point is, don't just stick to philosophy of getting relief from this birth, old age, disease and death. We should take a step ahead and take shelter of lotus feet of Shri Krishna. So that's the final message for today. We should take shelter of Krishna in a total mood of surrender, in a very eager and high intensity. Means we should not wait for the distress. Let the distress come and then I will surrender to Krishna completely in high intensity. We should not wait for that time. We should start from now. Now we are peaceful. Now we are happy. Let's take shelter of Krishna. Because what happens if in a peaceful situation we are not training our mind to take shelter of Krishna, then probability is high that in distressful condition we will leave Krishna. As it is said in Gita, Anta Kale Cha Mamaya, at the end of the life, at the time of death, if we remember Krishna, then we will attain Krishna. So, but we have experienced, it's my experience also, and maybe your experience also, that in a distressful condition, we don't remember Krishna. It's very difficult to remember Krishna. For example, when stomach is aching, head is aching, we are having high fever. Do we remember Krishna? No. Because in such a distressful condition, such a painful condition, it's become very difficult to absorb our mind in Krishna. Sometimes it happens that at that time we don't even want to hear Kirtan also. Stop that playing. So why that happens? Because we are not trained into Krishna consciousness in happy times. So first of all, in happy times we have to train our mind to focus on Krishna, to focus on Harinam, to focus on Krishna Katha. If we are trained into that, if we are addicted to Krishna, then in distressful condition, we may get somewhat connected to Krishna, depending on how intensity we train our mind in happiness. So point is, somehow or other, let's get connected to Krishna. Let's train our mind to get connected to Krishna. Let's get addicted to Krishna. Once we are addicted to Krishna, so then let any situation comes in our life, whether happy, full of happiness or full of distress, we will always be connected to Krishna. We will take shelter of Krishna. That's for today. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So any question? Hindi is also okay. Hindi में बोल के प्रॉब्लम.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि कल में और सीरियसली हो रहा था तो मुझे डिस्ट्रेस
क्या होता है?
डिस्ट्रेस होता है अच्छा नहीं कर पा रही
दो चीजों से प्रश्न क्वेश्चन इज दैट कि रोज सोचते हैं कि कल से अच्छे से भक्ति करेंगे पर हो नहीं पाती अच्छे से भक्ति तो उसकी डिस्ट्रेस आता है कि मैं अच्छे से भक्ति क्यों नहीं कर रही है ना. सच में डिस्ट्रेस इसलिए आता है कि अच्छे से भक्ति नहीं कर रहे हो या करने के बाद भी डिस्ट्रेस आता है कि नहीं कर रहे हो.
वो पढ़ना है
हाँ.
समझ के लेना तो कभी भी कर पा रहे इसको एक जिम्मेदारी बोल के करते समझ के कर लिया करना चाहिए
First thing is very nice. We have that thought, we have that you can say desire. We have to progress in Krishna consciousness because that is a foundation. Desire. At least I should have that desire. I want to progress in spiritual life. I want to progress in Krishna consciousness. That is the foundation. So I have that desire. So I have to now work on that desire. So when for that desire I make plans, I make schedule, I do time management, how I will read Srila Prabhupada books, what time I will chant my rounds, what time I will listen to Srimad Bhagavatam classes. We schedule accordingly. But when we are unable to fulfill those plans, we somehow are unable to make up with that schedule, we feel frustrated. Right? That happens. So for that what is needed is association. For that what is needed is mentorship. Various times what happens that people go to yatra, that I have personally observed, and going to yatra they're totally surcharged with that spiritual energy because from waking up to the going back to sleep, they're always in association with devotees, always chanting Hare Krishna, always doing kirtan, always listening to Krishna Katha, doing chanting. So they are so much surcharged in those 6 to 7 days that while coming back to their hometown, they are very fixed up. That even while going to Aurangabad, I will wake up early morning, I will complete my rounds in early morning only, I will daily hear Srimad Bhagavatam class, I will read Srila Prabhupada books, I will not do any prajalpa, no mundane talks. It happens. But then one day, 2 days, 3 days, 4th day, 5th day, Roji, how is chanting going on? I am not even doing my 16 rounds. I have come back to 4 rounds. So why this happens? Because of lack of association. Because we are not into that association. We need association regularly so that we continue to progress in spiritual life. We need association for reading books, we need association for doing japa, we need association for doing kirtan. We need association to read for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam classes. To get that push, we need someone to push us. We need someone who asks us whether I have done my japa today or not, whether I am reading Srila Prabhupada books or not. Yes, that's what Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that what's that? Kama krodha vijayata. When desires are not fulfilled, we get frustration. It's good that there are spiritual desires, but even those spiritual desires are not fulfilled, we get spiritual frustration. That I am not able to complete my spiritual goals. So yes, if I want to complete my spiritual goals, I need association. Because in present state we are not that much self-inspired, self-motivated that I have to do much that. If we are, very good. If we are not, then take association of that devotee who is self-inspired, who is self-motivated, who can at least motivate you, at least who can inspire you to do your daily sadhana in proper state of mind, in proper consciousness. At least you must do out of duty also. Because there are 4 stages. One first is we do out of fear. If someone will ask me, what if that Prabhuji or Mataji asked me whether I have done my today's round or not, if I have completed my 16 rounds or not. There is a little fear. So first thing is out of fear we should do, whether I have read my books or not. Then comes next level, whether I am doing out of greed. Greed means, okay, you do today 16 rounds, I will reward you. That's what we do to the children. You do your homework, I will give you chocolate. Actually, doing homework is for their benefit, but there is a greed behind that. So we can have spiritual greeds also. Okay, if I do today 16 rounds, I will reward myself with Mahaprasad or something like that. Self-rewarding. Out of greed, I will do. Then there comes next level out of duty. That if it's my duty, that Krishna is my father, I am his son or daughter. So being a son or daughter, it's my duty. Or being a spiritualist, being belonging to Sanatana Dharma, it's my duty to chant 16 rounds. It's my duty to take shelter of Krishna. It's my duty. And next level is out of love. That I am part and parcel of Krishna. I must love Krishna. Because I love Krishna, I like Krishna very much. I love Krishna. I love to hear Krishna Katha. I love to chant his rounds. I love to chant his names. I love to participate in Kirtan. I love to read Srila Prabhupada books. I love philosophy. I'm doing that. That's very high stage. Now I have to identify on what level I am I. On the level of fear, on the level of greed, on the level of duty, or on the level of love. So whatever inspires me, whatever motivates me to do bhakti, to progress in spiritual life, I must adapt to that. And it's not that I have to stick to that level only. I also have to increase my level. Fear to greed, greed to duty, and duty to love. That's how I have to do. And how to get motivated? Only solution is association of those who motivates you, who inspires you, who are self-inspired, till the time you get self-inspired. Actually, association is needed all the time. Because the world is full of dualities and always comes high tide and low tide in our world. Sometimes we are very excited to do Mangal Aarti and sometimes we are not. And the person with whom we are associating, he or she will inspire us when we are low, and when I am low, he or she will inspire us, and when he or she is low, I will inspire him or her. So that's why, that's the beauty of ISKCON, that's the beauty of Hare Krishna movement, that's the gift Srila Prabhupada has given us, association of devotees. So that's very much important. Hare Krishna. Sudhantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna.